debate, share, discuss the awareness among general public about various cyber threats that can impact them and the ways to safeguard themselves against cyber crimes. So this is not an advisory. This session is not an advisory or a technical consultation. If there is a general public viewing online in streaming media like YouTube, if you are a victim of a cyber crime, please contact your local police station or your state cyber crime cell immediately. With this primer, let's start with the topic of today: cybersecurity awareness for general public. So, what exactly is cybersecurity? We are going to have this discussion in a layman's terminology. We are not going to discuss the technical terms like what is an attack vector, what is an indicator of compromise, what is a security operations center, and what is penetration testing, what is ethical hacking. No, we are not going to discuss that. We are going to discuss about the cybersecurity in layman terms so that it will be beneficial for all of us. So we have multiple terminologies like network security, information security, and security. I'll start with network security. Imagine we have an institution that is having few computers and laptops connected to a Wi-Fi router, and it is interconnected in an intranet system. So securing this network is called as network security. You are even a network printer that is part of this network. If you secure it, it is part of network security. The next thing is the cyber security, where we protect not only the IT infrastructure but also the applications that is running, and the databases, the ERP, the CRM, the website, everything that is part of it, the software and the hardware together. That is the domain called the cyber security. Above this, we have this another terminology called information security, where it deals with not only cyber security and network security, it also defines governance, policies, and procedures, how to protect non-digital information. Imagine if someone is having protected health information, or if someone is having vaccination record, which is personal information to the person, and defining policies to protect this paper-based or any non-digital information comes under information security. So, the cyber security addresses the digital medium, whether it is a software and the hardware, and also the applications that is part of it. Even if someone is going to bring their own mobile phone and access corporate communications and corporate applications, and defining policies for ensuring that communication takes place in a safer parameters, that is cybersecurity. So today we are going to talk about cybersecurity, but not an enterprise point of view. We are going to talk about cybersecurity for general public. So on a high level, any device that is connected to the internet is vulnerable to cyber attacks. So how do we define this any device? It's not only our laptops, our desktops, our mobile phones, our servers, any device that is connected to the internet, which means let's assume that we have security cameras installed in our homes or in our office premises, which we can monitor and control remotely, like an office camera or a home camera controlled remotely sitting in a different place. That camera is connected to the internet. Of course, that camera system is vulnerable to cyber attacks. I can give another example where it's an interesting incident. There is a casino, there was a casino, and there was a aquarium in the reception lobby of the casino, and there was a thermostat in the aquarium to maintain the temperature of the water, which is connected to the internet. It would be very surprising to know that there are hackers, the non-ethical hackers, who did the cyber attack through the thermostat that is connected to the aquarium, and they hacked the casino, that is infrastructure they did it. So which means it's not only our mobile phones or the laptops or the desktops or servers. Any device that is connected to the internet is vulnerable to cyber attack. That is one thing. So this is a screenshot from the Future of Jobs report 2020, published by World Economic Forum, page number 27. The report is about 160 pages. It's a PDF available in public domain. Anyone will be able to download and access it. There are a couple of places where they have mentioned the necessity of the cyber security and the growth of cyber security in upcoming years to come, the upcoming 5 years and the next decade. If you can see, encryption cybersecurity holds the highest percentage, that is 29%, which means compared to the adoption that is existing around 2020, there will be another 29% of adoption in terms of encryption technologies, especially cybersecurity. So this is one domain, this is one technology that is going to be necessary, that is going to be part and parcel of all of our lives, whether we are in IT, whether we are working professionals, whether we are in entrepreneurship, whether we are retired, whether we are just students, it's going to be part and parcel of our life, cybersecurity. So there are two technical things we would like to cover before we go to the general topic. The first one is the CIA triad, which can be elaborated as confidentiality, integrity, and availability. This is a terminology that usually discussed when cybersecurity is always discussed. But if we are adopting any framework in cybersecurity, for example, ISO 27001 or NASP framework or other framework that is different geography, this is the most basic thing that comes with the picture. So what it actually means, what exactly the CAA talks about? CAA talks about the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the information that is under the cybersecurity domain. So what it means? First, we will talk about availability. We'll start with an example. Let's say we have a bank account. In the past, like 25 years ago or 3 decades ago, if we have a bank account, we'll be able to access our account only during the bank opening hours. Let's say the bank closes by Friday 5 p.m. and the bank opens by 9 a.m. on Monday. We won't be able to access our bank records on Saturday, Sunday, when the digital transformation happens. Internet came into picture and came into picture, and 24/7 we will be able to access the information and so on. So it become a mandate for all the banks at the time. We just took banks as an example only, but this applies to all the industries, whether they are manufacturing.
Mr. Maharaj, sorry to disturb you. The people are telling the chat that audio is not clear like that.
Oh, okay, sir. Now is it fine now?
Please, yeah. Now it's okay. Now it's okay.
Thank you. So this is this we are talking about availability of the information. So it defines policies and procedures where we are to protect the information and we are to make it available as and when necessary, and it comes under the cybersecurity domain. That's one thing. Second thing, integrity. Integrity means keeping the data as it is and keeping the data intact. For example, if person X is making a wire transfer to person Y across the globe, that is like 7,000 miles away, and when the data is in transit or in the way the data is at rest, the data should be kept and stored and transacted as it is, and that it should not be open to the public for hacking and so on. Imagine a person sitting outside the bank and tapping this communication of this wire transfer. Imagine if he is able to hack this transaction and make changes so that the end account, the end receiving account is his own account. That is a cyber security incident. It is a cyber attack towards a transaction. So cyber security policy defines We have to keep the data integrity, which means data has to be kept as it is during data in transit as well as data at rest. The third one is the confidentiality. Let's say we'll start with another example. Someone goes to bank and robs and deposits $100 million in the bank account. He will be in bank, and but only the two persons who will be able to know this transaction. One is the person who is depositing the money. Another one is the person who is at the cashier and the manager of the bank who is receiving the money and facilitating the deposit. Confidentially states that even if there are like 100 people in the bank at the time of this transaction happening, only the people who have the necessity to know should know this information, and those who don't have the valid justification or reason to know about this transaction, they don't and they should not know about this information. So that comes under the cybersecurity governance policies under the confidentiality domain. So this is like just for awareness sake. And we will go to the next slide, which is common, whether it is an enterprise or a public or anyone. Three different things: threats, vulnerability, and risks. Before we define what is a threat, what is a vulnerability, what is a risk, we will start with one example, common example. Let's take a mobile phone. A mobile phone without a key lock or a iris scan lock or a fingerprint lock is an open threat. Anyone will be able to access this access the mobile phone. Anyone will be able to get into the mobile phone and read the details, do any sort of activities that is not that they are not allowed to do. So leaving a mobile phone without a proper security is a threat. And if this mobile phone gets into the hand of an unethical person, an unethical hacker, utilizing this threat is actually called a vulnerability. It's like there is a threat in this scenario where we are leaving a mobile phone without the proper security, and the ethical hacker is exploiting the threat. That is the vulnerability of the scenario. The vulnerability of the scenarios, if an unauthorized person gets access to this mobile phone, he'll be able to make unsolicited calls, unsolicited transactions. He'll be able to change your Facebook password and post random, create random posts and so on. It's like exploiting the threat. The sum of the existence of the threat and the happening of the vulnerability is the risk. In enterprise environment, this comes under risk domain or the risk management team or the risk department, where they define policies and procedures for the entire organization under risk management, and they define what are the threats they are aware of, what are the unknown threats, what is the vulnerability, how they can create incident response document, what is the protocol of reporting cybersecurity incidents and so on. This is the enterprise view of the cybersecurity domain. But in general, public view, this is what highlights. One is the threat, another one is vulnerability, and the risk. If we leave our threats unattended, if we didn't address the threat, then our devices or our infrastructure will be vulnerable to the cybersecurity attacks, and there is a risk towards it. The risk may be a long term, the risk may be short term, the risk may be huge, the risk may be less, the risk may not be a cost incurring at all, but the risk may be impacting business, or the risk may be bringing down the balance sheet, risk may bring down the shares in the market. It depends on the scenario. So these are the few examples of the cybersecurity attacks. First, we'll start with this phishing attack, where people will get unsolicited emails without a proper information or without a proper details of who is sending and what is the purpose and so on. They send emails claiming that so and so person has one so and so bounty or a money, and they have to provide so and so money as a deposit for processing and so on. So these are types of phishing attacks. Another example is creating an email and sending as if it is sent from a bank, or as if it is sent by PayPal, or as it is sent from transaction company, for example, Paytm, or any UPI providers. The another one is a DOS attack. DOS attack stands for denial of service. This is an enterprise environment where they hit a website beyond the workload limit and the website becomes unavailable. And phishing attacks, viruses, we all know about it. Malware stands for malicious software. It's like when we download software from the internet, we have to be sure where we are downloading. Many of the sites that provide the software downloads will provide information that the softwares are already scanned, that it's free of virus. But we cannot blindly trust it, even though they claim that these softwares are scanned and they are free of virus during the transit, or it may be a counterfeit information, it may be a false positive. Still, we will end up in downloading malwares. If we downloaded those softwares and if malwares got installed in our systems, what will happen is, without our knowledge, those softwares will be running in our system. Those software will be monitoring our activities. They will capture the credentials, net banking credentials, social media credentials, our enterprise account, email ID, passwords, and there are like hundreds and hundreds of things this malware will bring. Even if you are maintaining a wallet in your system, in your laptop, digital wallet for bank account transactions or for cryptocurrency, the malwares are able to steal the information. There is a application called Pick Camera app. It was in Play Store for many years, and recently Google Play Store blocked it. There were like 5 million downloads across the globe. People never know that malware is actually capturing social media credentials and harvesting it. Only recently they found it. This is an example of a malware. So that is why we always tell, when you are downloading a mobile app, always download from the authorized Play Store. If it is an Android, please download from Play Store. If it is an iOS, please download from App Store and regularly update the app. There is another terminology called zero-day vulnerability. There is another terminology in application updates called app updates. Every once in a while, these companies, when they come across some flaws or bugs in the mobile apps, they fix it. And these companies cannot go to the public and tell to 197 countries across the globe. They cannot go and tell, hey, this mobile app, we found a bug, so we patched it, go and install it. No, there are like a million applications in the Play Store and App Store, and they won't be able to do it. But what they do, they revise this the version information, they update the fixed app in the Play Store and App Store. As a public, what we have to do, we have to update our apps as and when it is released. I have seen people who haven't updated the apps for almost 6 months to 1 year. There are good practices that you need to update your apps at least once in 24 hours, like daily check before the night or in the mid of the noon. Check in the Play Store App Store. You'll be able to see how many apps have got revisions. So just click update. You will be able to get the recent patched, fixed updates for those apps. This is a malware attack. And SQL injection attack, it happens when in the database transaction, it's like a technical attack. We all know about the Flipkart transaction that a student did a SQL injection attack, and man in the middle attack we just discussed, like someone sitting in the outside the bank will be able to tap the communication and try to change the end receiving account information and so on. Password attacks, it is happening a lot in the United States and other parts of the globe, not only in the United States. How we can explain it is, like, imagine a company is having a password policy, like the password should be 8 digits and the first 4 digits should be alphabet, the last 4 digits will be your year of birth. So if someone able to guess the year of birth of a particular employee using random there are scripts and there are programs, there are applications. They can generate the password and they can keep on attacking, so that at one point they'll be able to um, forcibly break that authentication and they can get into the system. That is why we always suggest that your password should be like minimum 12 characters with special characters in between, and regularly change the password like once in 3 months or once in 6 months, depending upon the organization policy. And there are other cyber security attacks like brute force attack, spyware and keyloggers, cross-site scripting, and so on. The other big two things that we can say the general type of cybersecurity attack that is common for not only enterprises but also public is ransomware and data breach. What it is, what is the difference? First is a data breach. We will take a general public example. Let's say you personally have a confidential or your company information in a laptop, like you have a business running for 20 years and someone hacked your laptop and access all your sensitive, critical, protected information. That is a data breach, and they have it, and we failed to protect it, and they breached that, and they got access to the data. That is a data breach incident. And in enterprises and organizations, data breach incidents invoice audits. They like if it is a GDPR in European countries, that's like huge amount of fines and so on. Ransomware in on other side. Ransomware in other side, we can say, if we are running a company and if we have a lot of protected information secured in our servers or any environment, if someone hacked it, took a backup, and they already came into our network, and now they are claiming that we have logged your systems, we have access to your data, you pay me this money and we will unlock it, we will let you to use your systems. The recent ransomware attacks, they demand the cryptocurrency. Before the adoption of cryptocurrencies, they used to ask for a wire transfer to unknown offshore accounts. Example, we can say the Kasaya supply chain attack last year, and the colonial pipeline attack that happened in US, where they hacked into the energy line and they got access to the entire organization's data. They blocked all the systems. No one was able to access systems until they paid the ransom amount. It's like, I blocked your laptop, give me the money so that I will unlock the laptop, you can start using it. So these are like common cybersecurity attacks that is like mostly common for public as well as enterprise. So we'll go to few news feed where general public is expected to be aware of. So this is this nodal agency, India's nodal agency called the CERTIN, stands for Computer Emergency Response Team, and they have created a national-wide cybersecurity policy in year 2020, and they are working to revise the policy as well. And you'd be able to see from this snip that there were like 14 lakh incidents in 2021, and the first 2 months of 2022 there were like 2,12,000 plus incidents have been recorded. We have to understand one thing. These are not the exact number of incidents. These are the recorded number of incidents. There may be like hundreds of incidents or thousands of incidents where the incident happened. It may be for a general public, it may be for an organization, it may be for an enterprise, it may be for anyone, but they may have failed to report it, they may have failed to record it, they may have addressed it, they want to resolve it. So these are the recorded incidents. It includes both citizens as well as companies and organizations. So there is a recent mandate from CERTIN. Most of you already know about this. Like for any organizations, if any cyber security incident happen, they have to report that incident within 6 hours. And there is another mandate for keeping the data. For example, VPN servers, they have to keep the data for at least 5 years. But that's why some of the VPN companies are closing their servers and exiting India. They are going to have virtual servers outside India after this mandate came in. So certain, that is one thing. And this is another thing. Most of us are thinking that the cybersecurity incident is happening only for the big organizations, but it's a misnomer. It's a misconception. It's a misunderstanding. It's not. 18 out of every 100 Indians victim of data breaches. This is uh, uh, this like recorded statistics that says very confidently that not only big companies or corporates or PSUs or private limited, in general, 18 out of every 100 citizens are victim of data breaches. Data breaches is one of the major cyber security attacks. So it's not like cyber security awareness or cyber security incident will happen only for the big corporates. No, it is for general public as well. So this is another thing that we should be aware of. 31% of the Indians lost money to cyber attacks and 70% with tech support scams. This is all these three news feeds are recent. It's not like the old news. It's like 1 month, 2 months old only. All this. So we have to be aware of what is a cybersecurity attack and what we have to do to protect our devices, how we can educate our family members, how we can educate our friends and network and so on, so that their devices are secure, their information, the devices are secure and so on. So this is another statistics like the ransomware attack by 30% last year. Post-COVID, there are so many cybersecurity attacks across the globe. Not only the corporates, the public also get affected, and there is a huge rise in it because these unethical hackers, they want to make money and they prefer cryptocurrency in most of the cybersecurity attacks because it's anonymous and we cannot track who is the end receiver and which country is residing and so on. So, which devices are actually capable of monitoring us? We are thinking we have a camera in our laptop and monitoring, and there is this office camera that is monitoring our movement in the office floors. No, it's not. There are proven demonstrations of how your smartwatch will be able to listen to your audio conversations, how your smartwatch will be able to monitor the keystrokes in a keyboard. There are proven demonstrations like that. If someone get access to your smartwatch, they'll be able to monitor most of your personal. And there are other demonstrations where this smart glasses, VR glass, if someone gets access to these devices also, let's say you are wearing the glass and we are typing it, we are playing in an online gaming, we are making the bank transactions, we are doing a number of activities. If they get access to this without our knowledge, without our permission, they will still be able to monitor and hack it. They'll be able to get the benefit out of it. They'll be able to make damages to our infrastructure. It's a cybersecurity incident. The next one is the smartphone. This is another example where we have it is a 100% successfully proven cyber attack. There is this person sitting at the end of the street. He is accessing a website and typing his username and password. There is this another person who is standing and using a handheld camera-like device, like 40 meters from the floor, and the distance is like 41.55 meters, and the angle is like 44 meters. From there, he was able to successfully capture all this information, and from there he was able to tell the exact username and password this person typed in his tab in his handheld device. This is an example of a remote attack. This much the cybersecurity attacks are sophisticated. This is like demonstrated many years ago, not in the recent past. So the basic cyber awareness. First one is the email spoofing. Email spoofing stands for, imagine like you have a friend and you regularly transact and there is a email communication going on. All of a sudden, if someone gets access to that and get an understanding, you'll be receiving a mail. Hi, I'm in some urgency. Can you please transfer this much of amount using this below link? They won't mention the account number or anything. What we will believe, okay, this is a normal thing that we happen. So what we do, we'll just go and provide the banking credentials, net bank credentials. Actually, what happens, even though the transaction may be success or may fail, the attackers who succeeded in initiating this communication, they are able to successfully capture your net banking credentials, like your username and password. Another example, which we have to educate our next generation, like uh, kids below 12 years and the generation that is below 18 years who are using Instagram, social media, and so on, is social engineering. What happens here? Um, these hackers get access to multiple platforms. They get to know their data, but they get to know their kid, favorite movie name or the pet name or something like that. They initiate the friendship. They talk as if they are the neighbors and well-known persons. They get all the information, and at one point, using this social engineering strategy, what they do, they will try to um, hack the social media account. Let's say they have all the information to change the password to Facebook. They will go to the Facebook and they will try to change the password like that. Malicious files and applications, of course, we just discussed. Like whenever we download files from the internet, we have to be sure that the browser says HTTP. Yes, this is a HTTP, which means HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol in secured communication, where the host of the website have an active and valid secure socket layer certificate installed, which means the communication between you and the end server is encrypted and no one will be able to tap this communication in between. So we have to be sure where we are downloading, what we are downloading, and what is the source, whether it is like scanned, and once we download it, are we scanning it in our systems and so on. Some people are using Microsoft Defender by default, and we have to ensure that Windows updates and other updates are always turned on, and we have to keep on updating at least once in a day, preferably. Um, some people, just because to save data or save the restart cycles, they turn off Windows updates for month, which is highly risky. They have the belief that they are still aware of what is happening in the internet, but the cybersecurity attacks have sophisticated to extreme. In the past few days, we are talking about a term called fileless malware, which means there is no executable in the system, there is no file in the system that is doing the cybersecurity attack or the monitoring activity. The malware itself doesn't have any file at all. That much the cybersecurity attacks have sophisticated and advanced. So we have to be always sure to turn on the Windows updates or mobile application updates, and we have to ensure that we download the updates from the right source and so on. Cyberbullying, it's like the, the natural bullying activity, like someone stalks online and that someone misuses the relationship and understanding and they try to bully. And identity theft, we may have known already, like people go and disable, somehow report to the SIM or send a message like your SIM has been deactivated. In the meantime, they get access to all the bank account transactions and so on. Before we ensure that our SIM is getting activated, they get a new SIM by providing fake documents or and the success in for example, at unauthorized transaction and so on. So another thing is URL masking. Um, Whenever we get a mail or we access any content, if there is a website link, which we call as URL, we have to ensure that when we click that link, When we hover the link itself, you'll be able to see which website it is going to open. The other way to safely handle is like copy the URL, put it in a notepad, then from there, from the notepad, copy it, paste in the browser address bar. Because the URL may state like hdfcbank.com/netbanking, but when you click it, it is masked to open some website that may be in China or North Korea. I'm not biased on the country names, it's one example only. It might end up in opening a similar HDFC Bank website that they have created to capture the net banking credentials. But actually what happened, it is not an authorized HDFC website, and it is like a cyber attack to the individual, to the people. SSL certificate. Whenever we go to any website, we have to be sure that the website is having HTTPS. If we are providing any personal information, we are using credit card information, we are using net banking information, or any sort of personal information, security information that we are going to interact with that website, we have to be sure it is having this. Even giving a email address in a website that is not having SSL certificate is highly risky. Cyber stalking we just discussed, similar to cyberbullying, and the other major thing nowadays is cybercrime that is happening in metaverse. And I believe you all heard about this metaverse platform where a marriage happened in Tamil Nadu around the Jan, I guess. So it's like a virtual platform that is having advanced technologies like the Web3, virtual reality, augmented reality, blockchain, and so on. It's like a virtual world. And people go to this metaverse platform and they do online gaming, and they interact, they chat, they hang around. There are a lot of things happening in the metaverse, and there are cyber crime that has happened in the metaverse. I can even show a video clip where an actual sexual assault happened in metaverse platform. There are incidents like that as well. So we have to be well educated. We have to educate our next generation and so on in how to enable self-protect when they are in the metaverse platform. So this is one of the last slide we are discussing. There are so many cyber attacks in terms of crypto world. We all know that blockchain is the technology that is powering the cryptocurrency, and it is a misunderstanding since the beginning, because there was an attack called the DAO attack when Ethereum was launched. So many billions of cryptocurrencies have been hacked, and that concluded that the blockchain technology is not safe. But actually, what happened is it's not blockchain; it is the way the code has been written. It is the programming that has flaws in it, which was exploited by the people, and they trained this all the cryptocurrency. And after this incident, like many years ago, daily we are hearing about cyber attacks in the crypto world. Not only in cryptocurrency, there are like crypto exchanges, there are like NFT platforms, there are many things in the crypto world. The government of India uses the term called the virtual digital asset, and they are even forming a bill how to regulate the cryptocurrency and so on. The first thing that we are going to discuss is private key. So there are two things. One is the private key, one is the public key. So there are two things. One is the private key, one is the public key. So what exactly that is? In terms of, in a high level explanation, imagine your email ID is the public key. It's not exactly like that. Just for comparison sake, for explanation sake, we are telling. And your password is the private key. You can share your email to anyone, which means the public key you can share to anyone. Let's say you are buying a cryptocurrency, you are having in a digital wallet, like a physical wallet, like a purse we are having. Digital currencies are stored in either wallets or exchanges. When it comes to exchanges, there are centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges, and so on. If we have any opportunity in the future to discuss in detail, we'll discuss about that. So when you have a cryptocurrency, if you are storing your cryptocurrency in your digital wallet, you'll be having two things. One is your private key, another one is a public key. Public key is open for anyone. You can share your public key to anyone so that you can initiate the transaction. Like sharing an email address. The private key is the password. The private key is unique to you. You should never ever share your private key. If someone gets access to your private key, they'll be able to immediately hack your wallet. They'll be able to drain your cryptocurrency. They'll be able to successfully transfer the cryptocurrency from your wallet to an anonymous wallet, which will never be able to trace. Nobody will be able to trace which wallet was sent to and who is the owner of the wallet. No. It is like sharing the private key is that much risky, and it has to be only with you. The another one is like wallets. Never share your wallet keys like passphrases and so on, passcodes and so on to another person, because if you share it, they'll be able to use the forget password option. They'll be able to set up a digital wallet in their system using the passphrases, and they'll be able to get access to your digital cryptocurrency. The another one is investment scams. People will come up and tell, okay, we are having a price reduction in so cryptocurrency, and the offer is valid until tonight. And if you invest around $20,000 US, you'll be getting $100,000 in 3 weeks of time, something like that. That is one biggest thing that is happening in the cryptocurrency world, where there are more unauthorized, unsecured, illegitimate transactions than actual transactions, actual valid, legitimate transactions. These are the investment scams, and let's be aware of not falling prey to it. Another one is crypto malware. This is like they downloading an online software where it will tell that this software will run in your laptops, and down the line, in many weeks of time, you'll be having this to be cryptocurrency. But the truth is, what that software actually does, not only it uses your computer's processor resources and so on, it actually starts monitoring you. It actually starts capturing your credentials. It actually starts monitoring your browsing activities. It actually starts monitoring your net banking activities. The other one is crypto jacking. It's like we may be thinking that, okay, this is going to install a wallet in our system or a process in our system. But what it will be doing, it will be using a process resource so that they will mine cryptocurrency out of it. It's like if they have successfully allowed this crypto malware installed in more systems, all these system resources will be used for cryptocurrency mining, and someone will be getting benefit of it. And if it is used for illegal transaction and so on, the people who supported this mining of activity will also be under the regulatory scanner, the legal scanner, and so on. So trading platforms, we all know about the regular news that is happening, like this cryptocurrency has been hacked, so many cryptocurrencies have been, millions of cryptocurrencies have been stolen and so on. So what actually happened is there are like different types of crypto exchanges, like digital currency exchanges, and people hack into the exchange trading platform where they get access to all the digital wallets, and they successfully drain all the wallets, and they steal this cryptocurrencies, and they transfer to their own untraceable anonymous address, Bitcoin address, or any wallet. The another one is a giveaway scam. We all know about this Morris coin scam that is from Kerala, I guess. And another scam that is known to across India is Gain Bitcoin scam. These are two different biggest scams recorded in India. Morris coin scam and the Gain Bitcoin scam, like the value of around these many crores to even 1 lakh crore, I guess. That much of amount they have amassed and looted, and it is under different legal body investigations. So this is another example, giveaway scam. They will come up and tell, okay, we are giving this cryptocurrency for free for some time. But we will, down the line after a few days or weeks, they will start uh, asking you to pay for it and so on. And after a few months of time, the cryptocurrency won't be having any value, and all our investments will be at loss. The another one is ICO. ICO stands for initial coin offering. It's like IPOs in our general word, initial public offering, something like that, where people will come and tell there are like we are offering that we are launching a new coin and we are giving you this many coins for free. But there are uh, actual legitimate cases also, and above that there are more um, illegal and unauthorized and fraudulent uh, launches also, where they motivate people to buy those coins, and it after some time all the digital wallets will be empty and their mind will be their money will be out of their actual money what they have spent and invested will be looted by them, and they will go untraceable because all these transactions are happening in an anonymous world, in a virtual world, which is like decentralized and not traceable. There is no central authority that is managing all this. So this is the last slide. If you get a chance, you are welcome to go and see this scrub on security. There are like three things mentioned here. Like if you didn't go looking for it, don't install it. Another one, if you install it, please keep updating it. And if you no longer need anything, please remove it. This is applicable for a desktop user, a laptop user, or even a mobile phone user, whether he is an IT guy, whether he is not an IT guy, whether he is a general public, whether he owns a business, whether he is not a business, whether he is retired, whoever it is, whether he is like the most elder in the family, and so on. This is applicable. So I'm just going to show a couple of websites that I recommend to check. This is a website called Have a Beat Bond. I'm going to check this email address that is from Mr. Salvaraj sir. If you want to check whether your email address or your phone number was part of any data breach or ransomware, you can go to this website and check. Let me check if this, okay. This was in the past part of some scam, and there are these three breaches like CIT, 0-day vulnerability. This email was part of that, and there is another one, and the Nitro PDF they were using, and they use this email address and so on. When this cyber attack happened, someone this email was also part of the cyber attack and so on. So we don't have to get scared of it. The only thing we just have to keep on updating our username and password, most importantly password regularly, so that even if it is part of the cyber attack, our old password will only be existing in this record, whereas we have already updated our new password for our email address. The second thing is enabling two-factor authentication or a multi-factor authentication, like setting up a mobile phone app where additionally to the input of password, it will send a prompt to the mobile where you will be able to allow it to access it, or setting up an app like Microsoft Authenticator or Authway, where you will get a 6-digit passcode, you have to additionally enter it like that. And yeah, this is about the apps that is in Google Play Store banned. And if you get a chance, you are welcome to go and check this website. Information is beautiful. So these are the biggest data breaches and hacks across the globe that happened in the past, like 533 accounts, like here Indian Aadhaar also is part of it like that. And yeah, there are like very critical and secure infrastructure also were under attacks here. As you can see, the Kodungalam nuclear plant also was at the time there had an attack. So this is why we are encouraging everyone to have an awareness of cyber security and ensure that our environment, our next generation, our um, kids and family members, everyone to be aware of how to be secure, how to educate everyone in terms of cyber security and the protection of the infrastructure. And, this is my coordinate, the mobile number and website. You are welcome to connect with me anytime. I would like to thank once again for everyone for your time and participation. I would like to thank the Chief Chapter of IEI for this wonderful opportunity. I'll leave the forum for any questions now. Thank you so much.
Yes, Mr. Maharaj, it was a wonderful program. Really, we enjoyed our program. Thank you so much. You have created a lot of awareness to all of us. Thank you so much. Yeah. What is your advice, sir? For we use our mobile phone, we use our laptop, we use desktop. Which is a secure way to do transaction for the financial side, sir? Bank transaction, net transaction, which is the best?
Sir, three things I would like to tell. One is always update all the applications. Like if it is a mobile phone or if it's a laptop or any environment, whether it is Windows or Mac, always update the operating system. Like Microsoft releases this patches every Tuesday. And, mobile apps, there are millions of apps. We may have 40, 50 apps in a mobile phone. Every day, 3 or 5 mobile app providers that they will update the patch and they will release a new version. So I recommend the people to update at least once in per day for all the apps. There will be prompts. We don't have to manually go and do it. And second thing, whenever we make a transaction, whenever we ask for information, we have to ensure that we are doing in a secured environment. For example, please don't use public Wi-Fi where it is not asking username and password. If it is WPA2, it is a secured communication. If it is open Wi-Fi, anyone will be able to tap the communication. Let's say we are going to airport, we are going to access open Wi-Fi in airport. Of course, if we are making any, we are opening net banking and making any transaction there, anyone who tapped this network, any unethical hacker will be able to see this communication, will be able to monitor this communication. That's second thing. Third thing, the most important thing, we have to keep ourselves updated and we have to keep aware of what is happening there. Because we just saw one example. There was one app in Google Play Store. Many years people are using, but it was actually capturing social media presence. Only recently they banned it. This is one example, and there are million apps like that. So we always recommend downloading apps from Play Store, not as an APK file, if it is an Android, and we should turn on our updates, Windows updates, app updates. Don't use untrusted VPN providers. Always ensure that the website that we access has HTTPS there. Please don't share any particular information in any that is just basically. And crypto is a different session altogether. We need at least another 1 hour to discuss about blockchain and crypto.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Excellent answer. Thank you so much. Participants, if you have any questions, you can ask the speaker or today's chief guest, or else you can move on to the next agenda. Thank you, sir. It was an excellent talk, sir, by you. You created a very good knowledge about this cyber security, and really we enlightened ourselves. You enlightened all of us in a nice way. Thank you so much, sir. Really enjoyed our program today.
Thank you, sir.
Now we call upon our Honorary Secretary, Dr. Kevin R. Kumar, to announce the next week's program and also propose vote of thanks. Over to Dr. Kevin R. Kumar.
Good evening, sir. Thank you, Engineer Selvaraj, sir. Good evening to all. So next week lecture program is Global Competitiveness Through Smart Working. It will be on 28th June 2022. It will start by 5:30 p.m. And the speaker is Dr. P.S. Kumar, Managing Director, Prithvi Grow Care, Chennai. I request everyone to participate. And also, I humbly request everyone to invite your friends and colleagues to join this online webinar program. Thank you. So with this, I take this privilege to propose vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank our today's speaker, Mr. M. Maharaj, Director, Josh Technologies, UAE, for delivering this wonderful lecture program on cyber security awareness. And it was really a wonderful lecture, and it has created a general awareness among us. And I thank our speaker for delivering this lecture. I also thank our associates, IWS, IIM, IE, and Computer Society of India for joining this program. I thank the members of IE and members of other institutes for being participating in this program, and I also thank our engineer Selvaraj sir for organizing this wonderful lecture program and for hosting this one. I thank each and every one of you for participating in this program. Thank you and all.
Thank you, Dr. Kevin. Sir, Maharaj sir, shall we close the program, sir, with your permission?
Thank you, sir. I really thank
All right,
you.
thank you. Yeah. Please, sir. Please, sir. Please. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your presentation today. Really enjoyed your program. Thank you so much. With the permission of yourself and other members, we will close the program, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Good night, everyone. Good night.